was, okay, so you're in, you kind of understand what you need to kind of get started in delta testing or beta testing. And now it's time to build a program. Can you tell us about the kind of process and the journey you went through building your programs, both at AMD and Intel?
Yes. So I can tell you this. I'll just be, I realize I'm on a Centercode podcast.
Yeah.
I love Centercode. That's why I use it.
Oh, we do too.
So I'll just, hope so. So a lot of my, oh God, like it was so bad. I almost repressed how like terrible I used to do it. I'm serious. Like it's actually hard to remember. But I can tell you a few things. So day one, when it was like, hey, we need you to run a program, right? Or a beta program. I don't know what to do. Like what? So obviously like I knew about the Windows Insider program. Mm-hmm. So the Windows Insider program was always sort of my my gold standard, right? So I kind of looked at what Microsoft was doing, and I'm a Windows Insider myself. Yeah. So I've always liked how they did that, and I thought, okay, well, I don't have the resources of Microsoft at my disposal with just me and literally nothing, but I can use that for some learnings. So first thing I did was, well, what do gamers like? Discord. They just do, right? So I use Discord, and sure lots of people listening would. So the first thing I did was create a Discord channel, like an official AMD one at the time, and just started basically just pinging friends that I knew that would want to do something like this, and then friends of their friends, and basically like a post on social media. And, I was friends with the moderator of the AMD subreddit at that time, said, hey, can you put like a link on the side and like drive traffic or whatever? So doing that was okay. And I did start off with, I think it was like 15 people, which is not that much, especially because that contradicts literally everything I said earlier. But at that time, it was a different time. It was like 2015. It was a different time. We weren't in the same mind share at that time.
Yeah.
And so running a program out of Discord and Excel sheets to track the testers and no proper ticketing system for bugs sucked. It was the worst because I actually scaled like that. And that was my number one lesson learned is don't use Discord and then wake up and try to scroll an instant messaging chat and like parse out little snippets for a bug and feedback. It's terrible, right?
Yeah.
So obviously that wasn't going to work. And so it was like this for a few years. We did try some other bug tracking tools. We tried, because that's what really my program's mostly about bugs. We tried some bug tracking tools. It was very difficult. It was cumbersome for the user because I'm always of the mindset that don't introduce too much friction for users because they're just not going to care and leave, right? Like, why are they doing this? Unless they're super dedicated. So those bug tracking systems did not work. They were cumbersome. I also had to have IT like whitelist these accounts basically for them to log in that they couldn't even control. And then they couldn't do anything. There was no collaboration. None of this stuff worked. So basically it went from that to Centercode. Like that was the jump, right? It was just like, okay, one day I was like, and I didn't know of Centercode at the time. I learned about Centercode through Google. Like most of us learned something. So I Googled like beta testing tool, right? And your SEO must be really good because it came up. And so I ended up, eventually over time we got it, and the world of difference, man. I'm telling you, the world of like, I don't know if anyone doesn't use, like, if you're not using a platform like Centercode, oh my God, like I don't know how I did it. And you know what's crazy? We actually did really good work, but I spent hours and hours of cycles of my time per day. I'm wasting time, right? Like, yes, I'm chatting with people. I'm wasting time trying to find bugs. But to be able to track things, especially integrations, I'm sure we'll talk about it later. But a lot of different things and tools that Centercode offered, it just was like very night and day. I wish there was a better in between from that, but no, and from terrible to Centercode, that's really what happened.
There we go. Chris, I think we go ahead.
Sorry, I worked at Western Digital before this, and we had that same kind of hodgepodge. It was we had a forum. We had the WD forum that was run by a completely separate team. We had our own issue tracking tool that we had developed in-house, completely developed in-house, and we had a whole different team that managed that. And then we used like SurveyMonkey, and that was like SurveyMonkey was like how we collected feedback too. And what's funny is like we had a dozen or so engineers that would run tests on different products, and everyone ran it a little bit different. Everyone had different size tests, and it was a nightmare. Like I came in and my first job was to go through feedback. I'm like, where's all the feedback? I'm like, well, some of it's over there and some of it's over there. And this one's a little more detailed and that one has no detail and you don't know who submitted it. So you're going to have to go figure that out. And I saw Centercode for the first time. Like, what the heck? There's a tool that actually does like beta testing stuff. And it was eye-opening for me as well.
Yeah, man, I got to be honest. Like that, yeah, like it was sort of the same thing with like, you know, like kind of our own tool or bug tracking tool. And, you know, sometimes I would create Discord channels where it's like leave feedback here. And then I would try to kind of police that. But then, of course, users will just spill bugs into there or like pollute it. Awful, right? So, yeah, of course, you know, over time, once we were able to scale a little better, I got some staff on board and all that. So, you know, that really helped to kind of just up level everything, right? But actually, it was brutal at first.
Yeah, I love your story. That's actually just a really good story because I've been posting this a lot on LinkedIn. Is you don't have any users? Where do you start? And it's just like you gave the perfect answer of I go with what I know. I know that I have some friends that would be this. I have some colleagues that would do this. And then they have some friends and network and who else can I try to go get? And you just you get dirty, right? You go in there.
Yep.
Don't expect an email blast or just one post on social is going to net you a community. And even then you said like we had, 15 people. So like everyone starts somewhere for you, the people out there that don't have that user base, go find where your network is and network, like go build that network.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, obviously, I've always liked being in the trenches. I've always liked that, right? Like, you know, I feel like I'm going to war with my testers, right? And like, I know that's maybe a very odd thing to think about, but no, I'm in the trenches with them. It's like, hey, like I see a bug here, and then I'm like, let me try it too because I like video games. Let's try it. So yeah, I've always liked that. And I think from there, like that builds some super deep connections. Like, actually I'm still in contact with the original people in my first beta program.
Really?
There's I developed an actual relationship with people that I've never even met. Right. And I take those relationships very seriously. Right. So it's not like hey, you're just a tester. It's more like I try to treat everyone like a friend. Right. And show, hey, this isn't just about like, yes, you're here to test a software package, whoop-de-doo type thing, but it's like, but we can do this together, man. We're going to war. Let's find what we can find, you know? So I've always liked doing that. So that just makes me enjoy doing this so much.